The shattering defeat from Crystal Palace was a sad end to Erik ten Hag's Premier League season, and possibly his career at Old Trafford. In this video, we'll show you why Ten Hag should leave Manchester United, what were the reasons for this, and who can replace him next season. Let's go! This season is Erik ten Hag's second at Manchester United, although it seems like he has been at the club for much longer. When he joined the Red Devils, he was asked about the ambitions and how he plans to compete with Guardiola and Klopp, which he had a very strong answer to. I admire them both, Manchester City and Liverpool. They both play fantastic football, but you will always see an era come to an end. All of this was happening against the backdrop of massive hype about Manchester United's return to the race for major trophies. The fans actually had reasons to believe. Firstly, the club invited one of the most promising managers who led Ajax to the semi-finals of the Champions League and won multiple trophies in the Netherlands. Secondly, United signed all the required players for the coach, spending almost 250 million euros. These were Antony and Lisandro Martinez from Ajax, as well as Casemiro from Real Madrid. This was in addition to Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafael Varane, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho and other top players who were already in the squad. It seemed that with such a roster, the Red Devils had great prospects. However, they had to be doubted after the first two EPL rounds and defeats to Brentford and Brighton. Later, the team recovered and got 4 league wins in a row, which became a pattern for the whole season. On the one hand, the team made it to the top 4 and returned to the Champions League, and on the other hand, they fell 14 points behind the champion Man City and lost to them in the FA Cup final. On the one hand, Ten Hag won the Carabao Cup, and on the other, they ignominiously lost to Sevilla in the Europa League quarterfinals. On the one hand, the Red Devils had the most clean sheets in the Premier League, and on the other, Ten Hag got involved in a scandal with Cristiano Ronaldo, who left the club in the winter. Controversial is the only word that could describe Erik's first season at United. So, most fans and experts were rather confused when trying to evaluate the coach's work. The successes could be written off as the weakness of the opponents, and the failures as the first season and the need to instill the team with the way of playing and adapting to each other. Therefore, the 2023-24 season had to provide answers to all questions. And it gave those answers. The current campaign has become a real nightmare for the club's fans. Watching this group of players suffer on the pitch is unbearable. A few rounds before the end of the league, United are 8th. The team has completely failed in the Champions League, the players do not understand what to do on the pitch, and the 4-0 defeat to Crystal Palace was the culmination of this chaos. So here are 4 reasons why United should fire Ten Hag and start looking for a new coach. Reason number 1 is the lack of respect among the players for the coach. As it turned out, this scandal with Cristiano Ronaldo was only a wake-up call, not an accident, as many thought at the time. Ten Hag showed himself to be a weak man manager, unable to keep the locker room under control. Of course, we all know about the coach's public quarrel with Jadon Sancho, when the Dutchman accused the player of poor commitment in training, and the winger responded to Erik, saying that he was being made a scapegoat. Neither side agreed to reconcile, which led to the player's loan to Borussia. As a result, Sancho is in the final of the Champions League, and United are… well, you know where they are. There was also a case when Alejandro Garnacho liked a post on Twitter that criticized Ten Hag for replacing a player at halftime in a match against Bournemouth. The player later apologized, but the very fact of this incident indicates a lack of mutual trust in the team. The Brazilian media Globo Sport reported that Antony faced the risk of disciplinary sanctions after allegedly calling Ten Hag a bald egghead in the team's group chat. Later, one of the players brought this information to the coach. No matter how you slice it, it all looks like a complete fiasco. What can you hope for if even a player who has become a complete transfer flop, shows a terrible level of football, has accusations of domestic violence, and whom the coach has constantly defended no matter what, repays you like this? Reason number 2 is poor results. It's obvious and simple. We have already mentioned the 8th place in the league, but let's recall the Champions League. United finished last in the group with Bayern Munich, Galatasaray and Copenhagen, with only 1 win and 4 losses. And that win over Copenhagen was achieved thanks to Andre Onana's penalty save in the last minutes of the match. A complete failure. The only good thing that can be highlighted is reaching the FA Cup final, but even winning it will not cancel all the horrors that happened before. And let's be honest, does anyone really believe that the Red Devils have a chance against Manchester City? Reason number 3 is terrible performances. You can lose matches, get knocked out of the Champions League or concede random goals, but if the team is well coached and the fans understand what it's trying to do, there is always a chance for improvement. But Ten Hag's team has nothing to offer on the pitch. High pressure and a low defensive line that creates a hole in the center of the field is perhaps the best description of United's football. Statistically, this season is hell for the Red Devils. The team has conceded 81 goals in all competitions, the worst figure in 45 years. And the season is not even over yet. United have allowed 602 shots in goal in the Premier League. Only Sheffield and Luton have a worse record. With 3 games to go, the team has 13 defeats in the Premier League, which is already the worst result in the history of the tournament for the club. Interestingly, Manchester United have never finished with a negative goal difference in the Premier League. Now they have -3 and matches against Arsenal and Newcastle ahead. Moreover, over the past 10 years, the club has never finished lower than 7th place, which David Moyes was responsible for in 2014. So, back then the team collected 64 points, which is already impossible this season. Grim. A moment of fun stats to end this horror. In 2024, United conceded more goals in London than Arsenal. Reason number 4 is failed transfers. In the last 2 seasons, most of the players he wanted were signed for Erik ten Hag. Of these, only Andre Onana can be considered a more or less good signing. Instead, the list of failures is impressive. Antony, Martinez, Mount, Højlund, Casemiro, Amrabat, Malacia. The club spent a total of more than 400 million euros on all these players. Of course, Erik might say that injuries played a key role in the poor results this season. Indeed, United have had more than 60 separate cases of injury or illness this season, totaling more than 1,300 days of absence. His defense has been hit particularly hard, forcing Ten Hag to use 14 different center-back combinations. But as we said, it's one thing to lose matches and another to lose matches without having an idea of what you're doing on the pitch. This is one of the most poorly coached teams in the Premier League. Jamie Carragher says, "Different teams have faced injury epidemics in different seasons, but the approach of the coach and players should not change because of this. And injuries are not something that can justify all failures." Like this video if you agree that Ten Hag should leave Manchester United. Is there an option for Ten Hag to stay? Yes, there is. But if this happens, it'll only be because of the fact that not many top coaches will agree to come to work in this chaos. However, if the Manchester United bosses can, they will definitely change the manager. There have been many names in the press lately, but Thomas Tuchel seems to be the best option. The German coach ticks all the boxes and is available. Everything will depend on his desire. For United, it'll be a jackpot. Not only does Tuchel have experience in the constantly chaotic Chelsea, he knows how to win trophies in such conditions. We remember his win in the Champions League with the Blues. In addition, the German promotes modern attacking football, which is what every club that wants to reach the highest levels should strive for. Clutch Points even writes that United and Bayern might just swap coaches. Tuchel will leave Bayern at the end of the season, even if they manage to win the Champions League. And he will do so not by choice, but by the decision of the management. So he won't need any rest, and the Red Devils have to seize this chance. Among the other managers who are associated with the job, the names of England national team coach Gareth Southgate and former Brighton and Chelsea coach Graham Potter are most often mentioned. It's worth noting though that these two do not arouse any enthusiasm among United fans, and it's difficult to call them an improvement compared to Ten Hag. Let us know in the comments whether you agree that Ten Hag should leave Manchester United and who would be an ideal replacement for him. Also, if you found our analysis interesting, please like this video to support us. Bye bye!